Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Bucco Brew, powered by DeFair Coffee and Tea. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim Rosati, and it's Monday, so therefore, Jim, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. At least you woke up this time.
I'm here. I am
You know what?
present, sir.
I was worried. I was here early. I was logged in, ready to go around 6:55, and I was like, okay, let's see if he shows up today.
Let's find out. Yep, here I am.
You never know. Long weekend, holiday weekend. I don't know. I was a little concerned.
Yeah, I get it. I fully understand. And I will say I woke up and that alarm went off, and I was like, oh boy, I better make sure I wake up for this one. So I didn't want any mishaps happening. So yeah, I'm here, ready to go. Like I teased last night on the post game. I am pissed off I missed last week because I felt you and I would have had some really good discussion about Mitch Keller and trading within the division and blah blah blah. But you did a good job. You did a good job by yourself, Jim. So I want to give you props. Shout out to Jim Rosati for carrying the show.
You gotta be kidding me. As he's giving me props for carrying the show, he just leaves the stream, falls out. Um, Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Um, I don't know where he was going with that. Hopefully he pops back in here. Uh, he just disappeared. He just disappeared. So yeah, hopefully all of you had a really good 4th of July though. 4th of July weekend. Yeah, you know what? I actually had like I said, my plans on Friday backfired. That's why I had the post game show. But Saturday, yeah, went over to a buddy's house, went to the pool, shot up some fireworks. It was a lot of fun. Donardo, what is going on with you this morning?
I just switched my browsers. Do you remember how I
Oh,
kept getting booted from Jim
now
Callis?
your mic's off. Your audio's all messed up.
Yeah.
So as you're getting that fixed,
There. That's probably
yeah.
better.
Last week we were coming off a sweep, and then we had another sweep, a monumental, historic homestand, and then yeah, it's just every time there's a glimmer of hope with this team. Just like there's a glimmer of hope when Donardo shows up on the stream, it just goes away.
That's what happens. It was such a glorious time. I don't know. That 6 games, especially the sweep of the Cardinals, it was just fantastic. Vibes were high. Talking good. Not that the Pirates were going to come back. We weren't talking Ben Cherington like, well, you know what? Maybe there's a chance. Let's just kind of hold off and see how this works for the trade deadline. No, we knew it was going to happen. But at least, like, hey, if they can play like competitive baseball, maybe it's a turnaround. Maybe we're starting to see the difference. Maybe we're starting to see the team Ben squinted hard enough to see. And then they just reminded us who they were. Like you said, this is history. They go and they do that, and they come around and do the complete opposite and get swept. So, like, now they're the first team to ever do those two things in that dramatic fashion. And of course, that's the 2025 Pirates in a nutshell.
Yeah, like in the span of a week, they do two things that has never happened before.
Right. And the one good thing that never happened before was a great thing.
I would say
positive
one was a good thing. Yeah, one was a good thing. Like arguably the best series, the best 6-game homestand in the history of baseball, which is a wild thing to say considering where this team's sitting at in the standings. But like legitimately, they shut out the Cardinals 3 games in a row. They took care of who's the other team? The Mets.
The Mets
Took care of the Mets like easy, like killed them all 3 games. And then they go to Seattle and just lay 3 absolute stinkers. I mean, Friday night against Brian Wu, a good pitcher, but like it's still not an excuse to Nick Gonzalez being the only person in the lineup with a hit, off of him. Like the rest of the lineup was over. Saturday, similar situation. We had 2 hits Saturday. Spencer Horwitz had both. And then Monday and then yesterday, same thing. Like the offense just couldn't get anything going at all. at all. So yeah, it's a frustrating situation.
Very much. Very much. It's just like I said, it's they take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Well, 5 steps, I would say. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, like they show you there's some talent on this team. I don't know how it escapes them so often and how they go to looking completely lifeless. So I don't know. Here we are. But I'll tell you what, Jim, before we go further than that, let's tell everyone about the sponsor of the show, DeFair Coffee and Tea. DeFair is a family and employee owned and operated business. They believe that coffee and tea are one of life's simplest and most accessible pleasures, and when enjoyed thoughtfully, can open your eyes to the here and now. They have 5 locations across the city of Pittsburgh, including their flagship in the heart of Pittsburgh's historic Strip District. To learn more about us on Instagram, or head over to the website at defair.coffee. Of course, that's DEFER.coffee. And Jim, you know the deal. Tell everyone how they can save themselves 30%.
Yeah, you can save yourself 30% using code NS930. NS930. 30% off your order, no matter how big the order. Whether you're buying
That's
one
right.
bag of coffee or 20 bags of coffee.
That's right. Go on there, defair.coffee. First time users, type in NS930. You get yourself some coffee. So now it looks like I'm rolling solo right now. Jim has left the building. So I don't know what's going on. Like I mentioned with the Jim Callis show, I kept getting booted. That's what happened to me right now. I assume that's what happened to Jim. So let's go ahead and continue the show. He's just paying me back, I guess. But yeah, so going back to the series here with Seattle. I mean, it was just, hey, welcome back, Jim.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my mic. I keep trying to switch to my actual mic, and the software is not letting me do it. So I'm on my AirPods right now. So apologies.
Yeah,
Audio's having issues.
this whole software is just going crazy on us right now.
Don't know.
But I was talking about the into the Mariner series, right? It's just pitching was really good. I mean, I know they gave it the 5 runs the first game. That happens. Kyle Raleigh is a beast. He's a monster. So that happens. But it was 5 runs, right? It wasn't like they gave up 10, 12, 14, right? 5 runs, whatever. Then 1-1. I mean, 7 runs in the entire series. Pitching still held up. And the Mariners are a very good offensive team. It's like, once again, the pitching just absolutely showed up this series. The offense scored 0. I want to give so much props to this pitching. I mean, like this team, honestly, like, I know the offense is a huge part. So I'm not saying the team's good, but just every aspect of this team actually is coming together. I mean, defensive runs saved. They're one of the better teams in baseball, right? Defensively, with all the mishaps you want to talk about with Cruz and going down the list of whomever, like this team is one of the better defensive teams in baseball. This team has, from the rotation to the bullpen, one of the better staffs in baseball. This offense is just completely trash and bringing this entire team.
Yeah, I mean, it's you look at the 2 games. Friday was a loss. Like, the Mariners played better than the Pirates on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, though, like, the pitching was outstanding. Outstanding. You had on Saturday, no runs given up by Mike Burrows. Caleb Ferguson gives up his first run in about a month or so, and the Pirates lose 1-0.
The second, yeah,
Yeah,
a month and a half.
and then Sunday, similar situation. Skenes goes 5 scoreless, and Majinski gives up 1 run. So, yeah, like this team, the pitching is excellent. I was trying to go through here and find, but I'm fairly certain the Pittsburgh Pirates have given up the least amount of runs per game in baseball. And so, at least in the National League, I know that. Just disgusting. Just disgusting that they went through it. Like, this series was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And it's just frustrating because every single time you think this team is like maybe turning over a new leaf, or that you think they may be getting going at some point. And even the players individually, like Brian Reynolds, I'm talking about you. Like every time you
Mhm.
think Brian Reynolds is going to start heating up, he puts together a good 3, 4, 5 game stretch. Brian Reynolds went hitless in Seattle. I don't know if he got on base the whole weekend. Dude didn't get a hit. You aren't going to win games when your number 3 hitter, your number 2 hitter just doesn't even get on base ever.
Right.
And I mean, he's not the only one. There's obviously other culprits here, but he's a big reason why the Pirates are in the position that they are because of
No,
how terrible he was early on. And it's like he's shown you a couple hot stretches right now where you're like, okay, the regular Brian Reynolds is about to show up. And he just every time he gets going, he just immediately crashes. And that's what's happened to this team. Like you're like, okay, maybe we got something going here, and then all of a sudden, just a complete, just laying an egg completely this weekend. Just it was just god awful baseball. It was not enjoyable to watch this weekend. Saturday, I was all excited, long day, but like, hey, 10 o'clock. I like West Coast games because I'm usually up that late anyways, and so it's
right.
like it gives me something to do. I fell asleep in like the eighth inning because of how boring that game was. I just fell asleep on the sofa, woke up. You and Neil were doing the post game show when I woke up, and I was just like, yeah, I guess we lost.
Well, I envy you for that night because I wish I could have just fell asleep instead of doing the post game show. No, for real though, you're right. And we harp so much on Ben Charrington, the roster construction, and like the bottom half of this team because it's so bad. But yeah, I mean, the problem is the guys that should be good aren't good either, and Brian Reynolds is a big part of that. I mean, he signed the big contract, and I'm not going down this road. Okay, I'm not going to be one of those where Brian he's not living up to this contract, and we overpaid, and oh my gosh, like he's been worth that contract. Okay, that the point is he's given that contract because he is a good player. You don't get $100 million because you're one of the worst players in baseball or, an average player. You're getting that contract because you're deserving of it. He's not deserving that contract this year. And, all jokes aside, his wife giving birth, he came back, he was hot, he's playing much better. And you thought, okay, maybe Brian Reynolds is back. That hasn't come true. It was like you said, like that 1 week. Brian Reynolds keeps confusing us, with a week of good baseball. And you keep thinking, all right, here's the turnaround. And then it just goes away. I mean, since that time, right? He was hot. His last 22 plate appearances, he has 2 hits. He's striking out 43.5% of the time. He's walked once, which is, by the way, he did walk in Seattle the first game. That's it. That's his first walk, I think, since May 23rd also. Like, the guy's he's not doing his job. And, when you have a team that has a poor offense, right? Not constructed well, the bottom half of the lineup has its flaws and issues. You better have the top part. You better have the guys that are paid to do their job, doing their job. And he's not. And he's not, like you said, not the only one. Kutch, for the majority, has been pretty consistent. But Cruz right now also. I mean, Cruz is just not looking good either for the most part. So when Cruz and Brian Reynolds aren't hitting, yeah, they're going to have 0 runs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you summed it up. It was a pathetic weekend. If I'm a pitcher on this team, I am just oh my god. Like I don't know what to think at this point. Like at this point, I'm basically like, you know what? I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm not even gonna worry about like I just know the offense sucks. So I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna pitch my innings. I'm probably gonna lose if I give up a run, But so be it. I want at least my numbers to look good so that I can get traded to a better team. Like at that point, that's my mentality right now. Like if you're Andrew Heaney, you're just like I need to continue pitching my ass off because I need out of here.
Yeah.
Like this can't be enjoyable. It can't be enjoyable basically having zero margin for error as not only just a starting pitcher, but like an entire pitching staff. The entire pitching staff right now has almost zero margin for error because of how
So,
bad this offense has been over the course of the season.
and like kind of think about that too. I mean, kind of joke in that sense. Also, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on these pitchers because they know they can't give up a run. It's not, you don't have an offense that has some firepower. It's like, you know what, if I give up this run, it's okay. I can, we can still win. You can't. There's a guy in third. You tighten up. I can't allow this guy to score at all. With that pressure, second best ERA since May 1st. It's a large sample. We're talking 60 games since May 1st. 3.35 ERA. The entire pitching staff, Jim, since May 1st, a 3.35 ERA. Think about that. They're averaging 3 1/3 runs that they're giving up. That alone for one pitcher is like, that's a really good pitcher. This is the entire team we're talking about, not one pitcher. We're talking about how Mitch Keller is a solid pitcher. The team has a 3.35 ERA. The team is better than Mitch Keller as a whole unit. Like, think about that concept here. This is really good pitching. We're not talking about, hey, the pitching's pretty good. It's better than the offense. This is really good pitching. Really good pitching. And they can't even compete. They cannot even compete.
Yeah. I mean, right now they lead the National League in runs allowed per game.
Yes.
3.81 runs allowed per game this season. And they're 15 games under 500. They're the best team in the league at keeping the other team from scoring. And they're 15 games under 500. I honestly don't even know how I don't know how that's possible. Like, you would just think, yeah, if you're the best team in the league at minimizing runs, let's just say you're the worst team in the league at scoring runs. It should all even out to like a 500 record. You should be like right in the middle, right? Best at one thing, worst at the other thing. But no, they're best at one thing, worst in the other thing. And it culminates to them being the second worst team in the league behind a historically bad Colorado Rockies team. Like, that's only, like, they're lucky that the Colorado Rockies exist right now. Otherwise, they would be the worst team in the league. I guess the Nationals are a game behind us too. But like, I just like that astounds me. It astounds me that you can be the best team in the league at keeping the other team from scoring. Yet you're 38-53.
Yep. And I know I cherry picked some to say starting since May 1st. A lot of it has to do because, like, Holderman's not there and they had those bullpen issues. That's a long time. Let's kind of show the stretch, like, how good the pitching has been. And then again, like, there's still 15 games behind. It still hasn't been good in that stretch. But in total, 3.68 ERA, like, on the year. I mean, that's still, like you mentioned, those runs allowed per game in the National League, best over that's encapsulating the entire season. So for the entire season, that ERA last year, and I think it was 6th or 7th in baseball. Last year, they were 20th as far as ERA with a 4.17. And like last year, like, the pitching was good. Paul Skenes came back. Like, the pitching was good. Like, the pitching was not a problem. Like last year's we're talking about, the pitching was ahead of the hitting, right? If they can get an average lineup, this team could probably be in contention. The pitching was fine. It wasn't a problem at all. Look how much, leaps and bounds this pitching is from last year. And they're worse. This team's worse. Like, think about heading into the season. If you're told that this team would allow the least amount of runs in the National League, if you just got told how good it's been since, May 1st, all this stuff, you would think, okay, this team is really in it. Like, we're not talking about like the 500. We're talking about this team is like in the wild card. They're in the running for the division. They're 15 games under 500. I pray for the days back when it was like, oh, there's Brian De La Cruz in the lineup. Think about how this offense was in the second half. Like, it was bad. seen better than this.
Yeah, just like the title says, pitiful. It's pitiful. And this weekend was pitiful.
Yep. So Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, we keep, and again, a lot part of it is Charrington and the bottom part of this lineup, but this team it absolutely goes whenever Cruz, Kutch, and Reynolds are going. And if two of those three aren't, that's it. And oftentimes, right now, they just simply aren't.
Yeah, the fact that both Cruz and Reynolds are struggling just means it's over. Like, there's just not enough. There's no one else. There's no one else.
Yep. And it's not just like, hey, they're having a rough 2 weeks. Cruz is a below average hitter. 97 weighted runs created plus. Like, that's where he's come at this point in time. He's now a below average hitter.
And like that's just not good enough.
No.
Like, he needs to be better. Brian Reynolds needs to be better. Spencer Horwitz needs to be better. Brian Hayes needs to be better. Tommy Pham, I mean, is turning around, but he still needs to be better. Henry Davis needs to be better. They all need to be better. The only player right now who, like, I'm not upset with is Nick Gonzalez. Not upset with Nick Gonzalez. But, like, that's it. Everyone else needs to be better.
Yeah. No, you're right about Nick. He's swinging away, buddy. Making contact.
Nick Gonzalez, 115 weighted runs created plus. Like, he is. We kept talking all off season, like, hey, he took that step forward last season. Can he take another step forward this season? So far, he's taken another step forward, and he's the only one holding up his end of the bargain.
Right. Yep. I don't call him in. It is frustrating.
And Kutch, I'll give Kutch. Kutch is doing what he needs to do. You can't really ask for much more than what he's giving.
Right.
He's playing every single day. Like, Andrew McCutcheon hasn't had an off day since Don Kelly took over, I feel like. And he's hitting slightly better than he did last year. He's providing you some power. Yeah.
That just perturbs me. Also, you saying that, because right. Why does this guy need 2 days off a week? Beforehand? It was just silly. It was silly. Still silly. And yeah, it's like he can play every day now. Magic. Do we want to talk about something more positive?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like, I'm in the mood to just tear this team apart, but you know what? We have 6 more days where we can do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul Skenes was announced to the NL All-Star game. I don't think anyone's surprised. I mean, someone from the Pirates has to go for one, because every team has to have a representative. And Paul Skenes is a really good pitcher. So I don't think it's a shock to anyone Paul Skenes makes the All-Star team. However, again, I don't think it's a shock that he was the only one to make the All-Star game, at least to this point as well. So kudos to Paul Skenes. I think maybe this is the time we can just kind of gloat some more and highlight just how good Paul Skenes is. Jim, Paul Skenes is a really freaking good pitcher.
Yeah, he's only, he's only 17 innings off of his innings pace from, I mean, last year he threw 133 innings. He's at 116 right now. That's tied with Zach Wheeler for the most in the National League. It's tied with Wheeler and Skubal for most in. Oh, wait, hold on. Crochet and Webb are ahead of him, so second most in the National League. Oh, and yeah, second most. But I think going into this year, I was like, there's no way this guy can put up another sub-2 ERA season, right? Like, that's not what we should expect from anybody ever. Like, that's not normal, even for the best pitchers in baseball, to just consistently give you ERAs in the ones. Like, that's not normal. And like he started off the year and it was like, I think at one point it got to like 2.8 or something like that, 2.7, like
Mhm.
it was kind of the high point. And you had some people in the media talking about how, oh well, what if Paul Skenes doesn't get better? He needs to be better. Well, it's like, well, no, not really. Like that's really, really, really good. Um, like if you're consistently putting up an ERA, a 2.8 ERA, you're you're like the best pitcher in the league. If you're doing that every single year. Um, well, he just turned it on. Like after April, he just started turning it on, and I mean 1.94 ERA now. He's made 42 career starts, 1.95 earned run average. Like, are you kidding me? He's
Insane.
23 years old. Like he hasn't like we always talked about like I remember like when pitchers first come up, it's always like there's an adjustment period. Like they're it takes them a while to get used to it. And then they kind of hit their groove at 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Like that's your prime. Like, are we still 3, 4 years away from Paul Skenes' prime? Because if so, like what is his prime? What's his prime going to look like? Are we in it right now? Or is he just going to get better?
Right.
He's 23 and he's just completely dominating every lineup he's facing.
I want to bring something up here because you actually point out the player, Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler was like one of those guys that, and especially you look at the Mets, like that rotation was, supposed to be nasty, never really worked out. But Zach Wheeler was part of that, the stuff he presented, but it never was really there. And then he came to Philadelphia and like it clicked. Now, mind you, when he came to Philadelphia, that was age 30. So, like you said, took Zach Wheeler to get to age 30 to become the beast that he is. And Zach Wheeler's a beast. I mean, he's the prime of baseball. Like when you look at pitching, I mean, he gives you the innings, he gives you everything. Since his time in Philly, 30 WAR, 2.85 ERA. Like you said, a 2.8 ERA. Like you get that, you're one of the best players in baseball, one of the best pitchers. That's Zach Wheeler that you're talking about. He has a 2.85 ERA with the Phillies. And his part with the Phillies is when Zach Wheeler became the stud, the Cy Young player. We're shaving off a whole run here, Jim. A whole entire
It's
run.
crazy.
And he's 23. It's not like, hey, Paul Skenes finally turned 30 and now he's taking up the whole. It's not like it's not like he was Zach Wheeler and then at age 30 he's kicked up notch to the 1.95. The guy's coming onto the scene a whole run less than prime Zach Wheeler. Are you serious?
Yeah, like I mean, I think Zach Wheeler is the guy that you can point to where it's like right now he's sort of like the gold standard of consistency. Like
Absolutely.
he's just been giving you a ton of innings, pitching every fifth day, and dominating for for the entire 2020s, like the entire decade. Well, Zach Wheeler's never had an ERA as low as Paul Skenes twice. Like Paul Skenes has been better than Zach Wheeler. Like it's not even close. It's really not even close. And that's an insane thing to say that Zach Wheeler hasn't even touched like the level that Paul Skenes has. And yeah, like you mentioned, like Zach Wheeler, it took like when he was in New York, he was a good pitcher. Like he was a pitcher everybody would have loved to have on their team. But like you look 3.42 ERA, 3.54, 5.21, 3.31, 3.96. Like it's a really good pitcher who gave you a lot of innings. Then he gets to Philly and he starts giving you the 2.92, the 2.78, the 2.82. But yeah, like it took him until age 30 to do that. It took him his sixth season in baseball to get to that point, and Paul Skenes is already better than that. So yeah, like I don't even know what this guy's ceiling is because he just immediately debuted and was like, "Yeah, I'm better than Zach Wheeler." What's this dude? What can this dude actually do? Because yeah, he's gonna be 23. He's gonna be in a second All-Star game, and yeah, just what he's done in his first two seasons is remarkable. And again, it's just a shame that He's got 4 wins. He's got 4 wins on the year.
4.
He started 19 games this year. He's given up 25 earned runs. He's given up 25 earned runs in 19 starts, and he's somehow only won 4 games. That's how pathetic this offense is. I know we were going to talk about something positive, but it just brings you back to the negative because it's like this guy, like he's 19 starts.
Right.
He should be like 15-1 right now. Like on any other team,
again,
he's on pace for a 25 win season, probably.
Think about last year. Like we just talked about, the offense was below average. Like if they just get to just slightly below average offense, how good this team could potentially be. Paul Skenes was what, 11-1 last year?
11-3 last year.
11-3. Okay, so he was 11-3 last year with a bad offense. The offense was bad last year.
Yeah.
Let's just get it to below average, how good it could be. So like it wasn't like he was dealing with a good offense last year. He was still dealt a bad offense. He was still 11-3. He's 4-7 right now. Paul Skenes is 4-7. His ERA last year was a 1.96. Right now it's a 1.94. I mean, they're basically the same, but technically speaking, he's pitching better than last year as far as his earned run average goes. The numbers support that he's probably pitching about the same or better as well. Like, how do you go from 11-3 from a bad offense to still having a bad offense and now you're 4-7? Like, that's how much more pathetic this offense has turned into. Paul Skenes is a losing pitcher. Like, it's not even like this is what gets me too. Like, seeing on some comment stuff, when you bring this up, it's like, have you never heard of DeGrom? Yeah, DeGrom still was a winning pitcher when he was like the Cy Young. Like, DeGrom should have more than 10 wins. Like, again, like that is funny with DeGrom. DeGrom, a very similar situation, right? For like his career in a weird, ironic way. Like, why can't DeGrom get run support? But like, he still had a winning record. It's like, I know he only had 10 wins. He should have more than that, but it was still like 10-9. Paul Skenes is 4-7. How? The math doesn't math. Like, are you kidding me? That's how pathetic this team is. He is 4-7 with a 1.94 ERA. And then again, back to DeGrom. DeGrom still wasn't touching that. When you're talking about DeGrom, and like, oh, he only had 10 wins. He said, well, yeah, but like DeGrom still wasn't even this. DeGrom's closer to the Wheeler than he is to the Paul Skenes. When he was 10-9, I guess I take it back. He did have the 1.7 ERA. No, that was fantastic. Still kind of the outlier. I mean, DeGrom is more of like the 2.5 ERA WAR type of player, getting 11 and 15 wins and 7 wins and whatnot. And we're talking about a 1.9, a sub 2 ERA. He's 4-7. He's probably going to start the All-Star game.
Yeah.
He's going to have a quarter of the wins.
Well, so I mean, the other thing to keep in mind now is no pitcher has ever won the Cy Young Award with a losing record. So, like, is this going to be the first time that that's ever happened?
Guess what?
I feel like
the Pittsburgh Pirates have made history once again this year.
Yeah, that's going to be another history. Yeah, I still feel like if he's pitching this well, like he'll eventually rack up a few W's. Just you would think he has to, but
you would think. I don't know.
Trade deadline's coming up. Yeah, like what if he's sitting there at what if he ends the year like 6-8 with a sub 2 ERA? Like, clearly the best pitcher in baseball, but he's 6-8. Yeah, like, is he gonna? I don't want it to happen because I want the team to win some games, but I want to see what happens in that situation if they give it to him.
Yeah, I know you don't want to, and like technically you don't want to because I want to see this team win and all that, right? Blah blah blah. Sure, yeah, it's the right thing to say. I want to see it happen. This team deserves that to happen. I know Paul doesn't deserve it, but I'm also curious, and this is probably the only time we'll find out. This is probably the only scenario where a pitcher is this good and a team is this pathetic. Again, that's why it's never happened before. This is the only time we'll see it happen. So let's find out. Let this be our test because it'll never happen again. Congratulations, Ben Cherington. You are the test. Let's see how much pitching wins matter to the writers these days. We're going to find out.
Yeah, we are. We are going to find out because, I mean, at this rate, like he's probably not finishing with more than he had last year. Like he's probably not getting past 11.
Right. And DeGrom won it with 10, and that was a big controversy.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, still a 1.7 ERA, but still, it was 10 wins. Like that's not a Cy Young. Here's Paul Skenes probably going to be in there with like 8. We'll find out what the loss column says. But
well, this thing, yeah, I mean, he doesn't give up runs, so he doesn't get the loss. But I mean, he has got 7 losses this year, which is insane.
7 losses. Paul Skenes has lost the baseball game 7 times. We bring it up
doesn't have the will
because
to
again,
win, DiNardo.
Individually for pitchers, I mean, they want to win. They want to see wins. It's just the ironic thing. We don't think pitching, like wins for pitchers, truly matter. I don't think Paul Skenes has lost 7 times, but by definition, he has lost 7 games. Okay. Meanwhile, I don't know. Let's take a look here. I'm just curious on something. Yeah, like Chris Bassett's 8-4 with a 4.32 ERA. Brandon Pfaadt is 8-6 with a 5.42 ERA. Paul Skenes almost a third less of the runs. 4-7. Oh, it's just funny.
There was who was it? Jorge Lopez. It's like 6-0 with the 6-something ERA, and he got released.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Crazy.
Anywho, congratulations,
crazy
Paul Skenes. You're going to pitch. I guess let me transition this way too. What we talked about on the postgame show with him going 5 innings, 78 pitches yesterday. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, my guess is the Pirates are wanting him to pitch in the All-Star game. I mean, that's what they're doing. And I kind of agree with what you said in that, like limiting him yesterday, pitching him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with what
you
said. First time ever.
Okay.
Like it's a loser mentality, right? Like when you're doing that, you are not necessarily putting your best foot forward to win the baseball game. And you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to position my best player so that he can play in the All-Star game. And I don't know if they've come out and said that was the reason. And I know they are. Like they're like he's pitching a lot of innings this year, as we've already talked about. So like there's kind of a couple things in the mix here. One, you want to start just watching those innings a little bit. And then 2, if you can get him to pitch in the All-Star game, that's all the better too. If they moved him up in the rotation to start him yesterday, when normally he would have started today. My guess is he's probably going to start on Friday this week, which gives him 3 days rest before going into the All-Star game, which, you can pitch an inning on 3 days rest, no problem. So I have a feeling that's what they're like setting up here. But by doing so, yeah, you're limiting the amount of Paul Skenes innings that he's pitching for you. So that means you're not necessarily trying to win the game if you're not pitching your best pitcher. But like you mentioned, loser mentality, this team, they are losers right now. So, if there was ever a time to think like a loser, it's right now. Because right now, this team, they're a bunch of losers.
Loser. You're all a bunch of losers.
So, you know what? If they were in any way a competitive baseball team, like if they were within 8 games of a playoff spot right now, I'd say, nah, you gotta send him out there and let him pitch. But they're not. Like they have 0 chances of making the playoffs. So do the guy a solid, let him pitch in the All-Star game. Do your fans a solid, let them watch him in the All-Star game. I mean, at this point, if you're asking me, hey, would you rather see Paul Skenes pitch one more inning against the Seattle Mariners so that they could just lose 1-0 with, you know, just one more inning of Paul Skenes? Or, Jim, would you like to see Paul Skenes pitch in the All-Star game for an inning? I tell you, you know what? I'd rather see Paul Skenes pitch an inning in the All-Star game than pitch one more inning in a 1-0 loss.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. A lot of people are on Twitter and on Discord were like, why are you pulling him? 78 pitches, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? I would rather watch him pitch in the All-Star game than pitch in one more inning of this stupid, pathetic baseball game.
Agree. Yep. I mean, and again, to accomplish it, they had to move his start up. He'll be pitching on regular days of rest as well. So he'll be fourth in the upcoming rotation again, you know, instead of his normal spot. And that'll be pitching 3 times in 10 days. So it's like, I get it. If that's what you want to accomplish, I'm fine with that. But I do want to fact check you here because you said something that was incorrect. You said there was a 0% chance you're making the playoffs. Technically speaking, they have a 0.1% chance according to Fangraphs playoff odds. So there is a chance, Jim. All right. I don't want you to poo-poo on this team so much. It's not a 0% chance of making it. It's a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs.
My apologies for the error.
Ben Cherington accepts it. He's still not sure what direction they're going. He's still filling out the trades right now. Could go either way. Could go either way.
If you squint hard enough, it's pretty easy to see a competitive baseball team.
It is. So, yeah. So, Paul Skenes, congratulations. We'll see you pitching, probably starting the game. Your second year in the league for the second time. Once again, you're insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of insane, let's talk a little about minor leagues because you know the future.
At least
Greensboro
there's
did
some positive stuff going on there. Yeah.
Greensboro did, and again, it's on the pitching side too. It's the same thing in the minors for the most part. we'll talk about some hitting here, but for the pitching side, Greensboro combined for a perfect game on Saturday. Cool, like that's cool. The pitching in the minors is pretty legit. I know there's some like top tier prospects that, you know, look at the pitching coming soon, but like also like a little bit lower, some names you haven't really talked too much about. It's the arms are there. And yeah, Greensboro combined for a perfect game. Cool.
Yeah, Christian Curtis, Jake Shirk, Michael Walsh combined for a perfect game. Christian Curtis in particular had an outstanding game. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. You know, we've had Murphy on a lot of times, and you know, we've talked about Christian Curtis a few times throughout you know, the last couple of seasons. And he's a guy who doesn't necessarily get all the prospect love that, you know, some of these other guys get, like Hunter Barco and Bubba Chandler, like the top tier guys, right? But his stuff is extremely good, like extremely good stuff. It's just a matter of like putting it all together. And you saw what happens when he puts it all together. And I mean, he had it all together this weekend. And so, yeah, 6 perfect innings, 10 strikeouts, impressive start. I gotta imagine he's got to be pretty close to getting a promotion to Altoona. Maybe put together a couple more starts like this. He's a little bit on the older side for Greensboro. He's 23. It was a college draft pick, Arizona State. A little bit, like I said, the command is the issue. Right? There's nothing wrong with the stuff. 4.70 ERA. You'd probably like that be a little bit better. He is in Greensboro though, so I mean it's a pretty offensive friendly environment.
Right.
But, yeah, his stuff is every bit as good as those top arms in the system. It's just a matter of, let's say, just commanding it and putting it all together. But you saw what he was capable of doing there, and he put together a pretty. I mean, he was in the Arizona Fall League, so the Pirates think highly of him. Yeah, just a guy to keep in mind. He's kind of in the, I think he's 15th-ish on Baseball America's top prospect list, so kind of somewhere
25.
right there in the mid. Oh, he's 25. Okay, well, he's in the top 30. Fangraphs has him 17th, but Yeah, I mean, you just want to see him keep doing well. Probably someone who may end up in the bullpen just because of the command issues, which there's nothing wrong with that. You need relief pitchers as well,
Yeah.
but like the stuff is legit.
Yep. Well, that was kind of cool too. Is I believe it was his cleats. He said like before the game just wasn't feeling right, and he had to like change out his cleats because it just again he wasn't feeling good, wasn't feeling comfortable for the game. And then he goes out and does what he did. Cool. Yeah. But yeah, no, for sure. Christian Curtis, someone to keep an eye on. Like you said, maybe probably towards a bullpen, if anything. But because like the stuff is good. If you can hone it in, and again, also as we see, the pitching depth is pretty damn deep and good. So it's gonna be tough for any of these guys to break in to the rotation, even with trades coming up. So yeah, keep an eye on him for some future looks.
Yep.
Going to the other side, though, the hitting side, the side this team can't develop, can't do anything with. They drafted a guy last year who has all the tools, and it came down to, well, I would draft him as well, but do I trust the Pirates in drafting him? Because then they got to develop him because he was a guy that's got all the tools, but it's probably going to be a bit of a project, right? Got to work on some things, you know, the tools. I don't know if they're going to match up to what the production will be. And I think we talked about him too. Is like, well, you know, give him some time. Jim, I think we were wrong about that. I think a lot of people were wrong about that. And the Pirates seem to be doing a pretty good job developing this guy. Jim, who's the number two prospect in baseball right now, according to Baseball America?
Conor Griffin.
Oh. And who's number one? And where's he at?
Roman Anthony. And he's in the major leagues.
So when he graduates in approximately a few weeks, then who does that make them to be the number one prospect in all of baseball?
The heir apparent to the number one prospect in all of baseball is Conor Griffin.
Wow. Wow. It's not technically a full year yet, and we're talking about the number one prospect in baseball. Really, when the draft comes and the full calendar year comes about, it's probably about when Anthony will graduate, shortly after, I would assume. And he's going to go from drafted 9th to here's a project, can the Pirates develop him, to becoming the number one prospect in all of baseball, according to Baseball America. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean it's impressive, right?
19.
And I think what's cool about this, like I think it's easy to get really hyped up about prospects, and there's a reason for that. Like it's all hope, right? You got hopes and dreams for all of these guys, and a lot of them just don't work out, right? But I'm telling you this, like Baseball America's number one prospects tend to work out. Like they're really, really good at their jobs. And yeah, like you're going to have some misses in the top 100. You're going to have guys who just flame out. But the number one prospect in all of baseball typically doesn't flame out. Like they end up becoming, and I mean, this is just, I'm going to read some names for you, just some of the last number one prospects according to Baseball America. You're looking at Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Wander Franco, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ronald Acuna, Corey Seager, Chris Bryant, Brian Buxton, Bryce Harper. Like, we're talking about guys that, like, once they make the majors, and I skipped Andrew Benintendi in there. He was a good player, and then just kind of flamed out after he was a good player. But, like, we're talking about guys where when they get to the majors, these guys don't bust. Like they're really good baseball players. We're talking like normal, like regular all-star caliber players, if not future Hall of Famers. Like those are who Baseball America's number one prospects tend to become. I'm not here to tell you Conor Griffin's going to become a future Hall of Famer, but he's now in the company of guys who fit that profile. Because Roman Anthony's going to graduate off prospect lists in probably 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 weeks, you're looking at Conor Griffin's going to be the number one prospect in baseball. And like I mentioned, like it's prospects miss all the time. Number one prospects don't miss typically. So it's official. Like if you haven't gotten to the point where like you're officially really excited about Conor Griffin, now's the point to get really excited about Conor Griffin.
That's where I'm at. And it was before we had this talk, but diving into like the number one players on the list by Baseball America. Like the Benintendi's are the busts, as you mentioned. And Benintendi's been weird. I mean, he came onto the scene pretty hot and he was pretty good, and it just like fell apart for him, but we're not talking about guys that like, then he reached AA or he reached AAA and it just kind of fell off the path and he made the majors here and there, wasn't good. Like it's like the Benintendi, like, okay, he was good. And then something had happened like in the majors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Still an all-star too. Like, yeah.
Right. Like the last time Baseball America, I would say busted is decades ago. Decades ago.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're getting at here. And again, this isn't trying to say like, oh, if that happens and this will happen. It's just like, it's just a little more reason. Like Baseball America is seeing something here. You see what he's doing also. Like, yeah, I'm getting a little more excited. As everything, still want to see that jump to AA. Once he goes to Altoona, what happens there? But the thing is, like, he came onto the scene in Bradenton and he struggled like that first week. And then like things just clicked and he was good. Okay, it's Bradenton. Move up to Greensboro, right? Now he's moving up a whole other level. And I get it's Greensboro, but move up a whole other level. And it was just like nothing changed. Oh. Okay. This is intriguing now. And Baseball America, as mentioned, now has a number 2. When Roman Anthony graduates, of course, I assume he'll be number 1. And it's like there's something really here. People saw it. That's why he was one of the better talents, in the draft. Can he put it all together was part of the reason why maybe he was number 9. There's a talented draft also. So it wasn't like it was just like he's number 9 because whatever. There were some good guys. We're seeing some of them are in the majors right now. So, it was a talented draft. Number 9 is not anything to like be it was all right. Still good talent. And it's being put together.
Yeah, I mean you heard everybody at like when it came to Conor Griffin, he was the number 1 high school player. And everybody pretty much was like, he could be the best player in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone pretty much said that. It's like he's got all the tools to become the best player in this draft. It's just got to all come together. And yeah, you're now seeing it all come together. I mean there's plenty of guys who were taken ahead of him who have already debuted at this point.
Which is also wild.
And like Griffin's kind of on that track right now where this guy's probably going to finish the year in Altoona at age 19. He's going to, if this keeps up, he's kind of on that Jackson Holiday path where like he debuts next year, like summer of next year as a 20-year-old. That's kind of where he's pacing currently. And I mean, obviously that's best case scenario, but he just, like I said, he moved up to Greensboro and didn't miss a beat. Miss a beat. He did have two games. He had one game this week where he didn't get a hit. 3 games this week he was held hitless. But like that's the hiccup is like a couple game blip on the radar is Conor Griffin struggling.
Right.
So then he goes back and has a 3-hit game yesterday with 3 stolen bases. Like,
right. He had a 158 weighted runs created plus in Bradenton. He's batting 338, 396, 536. 9 home runs in 50 games, 26 stolen bases in in 50 games. And again, he goes up to Greensboro. All right, better comp. Let's see what happens. The walk rate goes way up. That was one thing. Like the first week he wasn't walking. Then he had a little blip there, I think, like end of April into May where he didn't walk for like 20 games, it seemed. But then again, it was the joke was like, well, if you just hit the ball, like why walk, right?
Yeah.
He goes to Greensboro, 11.9% walk rate. The K rate technically down a percentage, but I mean it's about the same. But it's also very that's one thing too. Like, is he going to strike out? The guy's not striking out that much. 22.9%, 21.8%. He's batting 310, 416, 512 at Greensboro, 162 weighted runs created plus. So he's better in Greensboro than he was in Bradenton as far as league average goes. 11 stolen bases in 22 games there. What? What? And that's what the thing is. Like you're talking about, like he's on pace too, so therefore he has to keep the pace. We're not here telling you this will happen, but this is a realm of possibility. There's a reason why he's being shot up the prospect list is because like they see the talent, like it's real. It's not just us fans hyping something up. Like people are seeing this, they're evaluating this. He's doing this in Greensboro right now. If he continues, like you said, he's going to have to go to Double-A. I would love to see like an early August promotion. So it's not like here's a cup of coffee, had a good year. We'll give you a few weeks in Altoona. I want to see like, hey, here's a month and a half in Altoona. Some real assessment there. And if he's doing the same there, you start talking about 2026. What's the plan? Is it AAA? Like is this a midseason call up? And if so, we're talking a year and a half after the draft, and you're in the majors. Talk about the Jackson Holiday path. Like so far, he's doing what's needed to get there. So far, there's a real possibility he can continue that, and you're seeing Conor Griffin in the majors next year.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely possible, and he's pacing to do it. Yeah, and for a team who's starving for some offensive talent, if he keeps this up, you already hear it. I mean, there are people out there saying to call him up right now. Well, it's like, well, that's maybe a little bit too hasty. Dude hasn't played above high A ball yet. Let him get some Double-A swings before we start saying that. But like, there are people who are like, let's just go. Like, let's just go. You know, if he were on the Angels, he'd probably be their starting shortstop. He would have pushed Neto to second base at this point. Like that's where we're kind of at.
Right.
But yeah, like very realistically, and I guess I don't want to pull things too early here, but yeah, if he goes to Altoona here in a month or so and he just rakes in Altoona, there's going to then be a lot of noise come spring training where it's like, just start this guy. Just start him. Skip AAA, just start him. And he's your starting shortstop. Like and that's not going to be an outrageous take. You know, like if he goes to Altoona for 30 games and rakes and then goes to spring training and rakes as a 19-year-old in spring training, like if you want to make the argument to say, hey, let's just go, I'm not going to argue against you. Like I probably still wouldn't do it. I still want to see a few more at bats at the upper levels before you call them up. But like, I'm not going to be pushing back too hard on takes like that.
Yep. We talked about it, and I'm with you just on the opposite mindset. If he goes to Altoona and rakes coming into next year, how's he looking spring? I'm all about that because I'll be talking up it like Conor Griffin opening day. Can it happen? I want the player to prove me wrong. You know, like I want to give the player the opportunity to go out there, do your thing. Maybe I'm looking more towards midseason, but you know what? You've crushed Altoona. You're crushing spring. Here you go, kid. Let's give you the opportunity to get us a draft pick. Let's give you the opportunity to get yourself some money, right? Maybe making top 2 in rookie of the year. If you can you prove all the way to that point. And again, you've done it in AA now. Although it might be 30 games like you mentioned, but you did it in AA. Now you're doing it in spring. Yeah, I'm giving that side. And if they don't do it, it's kind of like Paul Skenes. Like if they don't do it, I understand the vision. I get it. I'm not going to say here like, oh, cheap Pirates and blame the Pirates and go off on them. But I am going to be on the side of, and that's how I am. Let the player dictate it. If he's done all that and he's done it in AA last year to end it, and like he's doing this in spring training or whatever, like let the player decide. If he struggles and it ain't working out, mid-May, you can just simply demote him to AAA. But I want him to prove what he's ready for. Give him a little push if he's showing to that point that he's been dominating. Now, if he goes to Altoona and he has his struggles this year, then okay, you know what? Reality's hit. Continue development. But again, if he's doing this stuff there, yes, that's where I will be. I will be. But I think regardless of that, realistically, he is on this path of being like a midseason call-up next year. And I don't think anyone envisioned that. And I felt 2027 is probably the earliest you'll ever see him. For sure.
Yeah, he's moved up his timeline. He's definitely moved it up. Like at this point, I'm not going to say I'd be surprised if he doesn't debut next year, but like he very much looks like he's going to debut next year at some point.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible thing to say.
Yeah.
But like
Absolutely.
When you're talking about the top talents in the league, that's when those guys debut. They debut at 20. Jackson Churio, 20. Roman Anthony, 20. Like these are the Jackson Holiday. Like these are the guys where you're now in the same conversation as those guys when it comes to your prospect status. And he's doing everything that those guys did along the way. Churio got to AA, incredibly quick. But yeah, like these are guys who the minor leagues didn't phase them one bit, and so like, okay, well, there's only one place else to put you.
Yeah,
and Griffin is playing like that right now. Now, again, it's still like it's high A. He hasn't no AA at bats yet, so like you still gotta do that. That's an adjustment period, but he's looking every bit like he's going to be special.
Agree. And again, that's why I wanted to see this push. I want to see this push. I'm hoping for in a month's time, we're seeing him in Altoona because maybe selfish reasons. But again, like he's killing it. And it doesn't look phased there. So like, let's get him to a league. Let's get him to an environment where it's like, okay, this is a real test. I want to see it. I want to know what we got on our hands for next year.
Good news is last week it was announced him and Conor Griffin and Esmeralda Valdez both named to the Futures game. So I believe the Futures game is on Sunday next week. So if you haven't really gotten the chance to see him or Valdez for Valdez as well, actually it's Saturday, July 12th, Futures game. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, games always on MLB Network, I believe. So,
yep.
Yeah, fun stuff. You'll get to see him face off against the best prospects in baseball. So, yeah, try to make some time Saturday to watch the game.
Absolutely. It's fun to talk about him. It's fun to talk about the future. But no, for real though, I'm excited for him. Congrats to Conor Griffin. He's putting together a hell of a year.
4 p.m. Saturday.
And also shout out and congrats to Esmeralda Valdez, who's also putting together a tremendous year. Just got his recent promotion as well to Altoona. So hopefully them two will be teammates again here soon enough.
Yeah, Valdez led the Florida State League in homers last year, led the South Atlantic League in homers before getting promoted. Yeah, so he'll also be in that game, which is cool.
Yep. All right, then. We out of here?
we can talk about the Royals just a little bit here.
Oh yeah.
3-game series in Kansas City. Facing two lefties, Noah Cameron, who rookie, is putting together a really, really good season, 2.56 ERA. He started off just like super hot, has cooled down a little bit, but didn't give up any runs his last start out against Seattle. They gave up 5 runs to the Dodgers before that, but 2.56 ERA on the year in 10 starts for Noah Cameron. Not like your typical young arm. Like, he doesn't have a high, like, lively fastball or anything. Averages like 92 on his fastball. Really good changeup, so I'm sure he'll attack righty hitters with that. Fastball, changeup, slider, curveball, cutter. So, like, yeah, good pitch mix for a lefty. Kind of a crafty guy. Doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. But yeah, rookie having a really good year. Seth Lugo in start number 2. We've seen him, I feel like, plenty of times kind of throughout his career. Seth Lugo is already 35 years old. I didn't realize he was that old. And then Chris Bubich, who's back to being a starter, having himself a really, really nice season too. Similar, it's like as in terms of like not an overpowering fastball by any means, but he does rack up some strikeouts. But a 2.36 ERA on the year for Chris Bubich in 17 starts. So he has been dominant for Kansas City. Kansas City is a team where, I mean, you look at them and there's a lot of similarities with the Pirates in that they can pitch. Like, this is a team that can pitch. They can't hit very well. Like, this team cannot hit. From a power standpoint, if you thought the Pirates had bad power, the Royals, I believe, are going to set like the all-time record for least amount of home runs in their home ballpark. Like, they've got like 12 this year. They're on pace for like 25 homers at home. It's something ridiculous. The difference between the two is that the Royals have Bobby Witt Jr. Like, that's kind of the big difference. So it kind of gives you a glimpse into, hey, what if you just had a really terrible offense, but you plugged an MVP caliber player into it? You'd be probably like the Royals. You'd be better than you are now. You'd be 5 games under 500. That's like that. That's kind of what I look at the Royals as right now. Like, they're the Pirates just with an MVP.
No, it's true. I wanted to point out here, because you're talking about the runs, right? The Pirates lead NL in least amount of runs allowed. NL, not AL, because there are other teams that are better. One of those teams being the Royals. The Pirates and Royals both have 91 games. The Pirates have given up 347 runs. The Royals have given up 334. So the Royals pitching is everything we talk about with the Pirates, right? I mean, the Royals have given up less runs. You talked about the home runs. They're going to set a record. Now, I guess the record, of course, home ballpark. So I guess that makes sense. But I do want to point out, if this is the team that's going to put up a historic least amount of home run stuff, well, they have more home runs than the Pirates at 63, while the Pirates have 61. So yeah, that's what we're up against.
Yeah, like, I mean, this is a bad offense.
Yes, and the Pirates are worse. So again, like, it is what it is, but it's going to be two good matchups pitching wise. I mean, we don't have Paul Skenes going for the Pirates. It's not like the top dogs for us. I mean, it's still good pitching for the Pirates. So this will be a good series of weirdness.
Yeah, they're
good
pretty
pitching,
evenly
bad
matched
offense.
teams. Yeah. Pretty evenly matched teams. Just the difference is Kansas City's got a superstar in their lineup, and the Pirates don't. Yeah.
The superstar is not superstarring as quite as much as he superstarred last year.
Yeah, he's
still
only
a
on pace for
superstar.
he's only on pace for like 8 WAR this year,
right?
Instead of 10.5.
Right. So there's a chance.
Yeah.
All right. We out of here after that.
Let's get out of here. Let's get back on track. Like, the one thing that we want to avoid is you had that 6-0 homestand. Like, don't just completely erase that with a 3-6 road. Actually, that's not even. Don't erase that with like a 1-8 road trip.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win a couple games here. If you win 2 games here in Kansas City,
which is doable,
and you can win 1 or 2 in Minnesota, then you can salvage this road trip. Like 4-5 on the road isn't the worst thing in the world, but like you gotta win some games. Like you can't keep letting this spiral, or like all the good that you just did is completely erased.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, even though the season's lost, they're not really competing. You still have to find wins. Like Paul said earlier, you still have to compete. You still have to find yourselves. There's still things that matter. So go out there and do those things. Yeah. So there it is. A late night all week as well for those that care. We'll be back again for the post game show tonight as well. So there's that. So if there's nothing else to say, we done now?
Yeah, we out.
All right, let's get out of here. We love you all. We appreciate everything. Go ahead, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hit up our Patreon. Go to those YouTube memberships. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.